We have this from Timcast.com. Breaking, DePape Pelosi body camera footage released. And oh boy, do I have a lot of questions that need to be answered. Because, you know, we were hearing a lot about what happened with Paul Pelosi's attack. We had a lot of questions about what seemed to not make sense. The video seems to clarify a lot of what we didn't know. But oh boy, does it raise a whole lot of questions about what was going on. And look, I don't know what happened. All I know is it's a very, very weird video. Now, I do want to say, earlier today, I did a segment where I talked about how I thought it was more likely it was a drug deal gone wrong. It makes more sense. But then they did release the footage showing DePape smashing the back door window. Yeah. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk that back. Still think it's possible, but probably very unlikely because it would require them staging a broken window for some reason, which I don't know, maybe they did, but I really find it unlikely. I'll just tell you this. In the video footage, you can see this right here. I got questions. How is it that Paul Pelosi, in his underwear, is holding a drink of some sort and the hammer in DePape's hand, and they're both at the door with the police, and Paul Pelosi does not walk out to the police. He just stands there looking in a stupor. You look at his face and he's like, huh?
He could run to them right there. They're right there. But why doesn't he just run to them?
Because DePape's got the hammer and Paul is trying to hold it. Because when they say, hey, drop the hammer, DePape responds.
You let go of that hammer.
No.
Like
so he's
DePape's pulling on the hammer. You let go. He falls back. Run. Just run to the cops. They're right there. They're right there.
I think they're hammered. I think Paul Pelosi is drunk out of his mind, which is part of why they didn't want to release it, because he's in his boxers drunk in 1 a.m. with his drug dealer or whoever this guy is.
I mean, he's in his own home. To be fair to Paul, it's his home if he wants to be drunk in his boxers.
Of course, fine.
I don't even think he's doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I think
I wish they had released this.
I don't blame him for being a raging alcoholic.
No.
You're 82 years old and married to Nancy
Party
Pelosi.
on, brother.
Why wouldn't you be?
Well, it's the stock trading that really bothers me, that his wife gives him inside deals. I don't allegedly.
Well, hold on. We didn't
Back to the video.
We did not excuse that. We excused the drinking.
Right. So
you can drink if you want.
Go on with your bad self, Paul, but lay off the stock trades.
I think the reason he doesn't run to the cops, he's plastered. Mm-hmm. He's just drunk out of his mind,
trying to stay calm.
That's why when
pants on.
So he just gets drunk every night, and this happened.
He got a DUI recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So here's what I think.
Didn't he kill someone in that DUI too?
No, he didn't kill him.
He injured someone. He hit another car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't just like get a DUI and go on. Like, he hit another car. I can't remember if it was fatal or not.
He's a drunk. I think the guy breaks in. Paul probably already had a drink. Was probably just plastered out of his mind. DePape's like, where's Nancy? And he's like, oh, wow. You know, just like, ugh. And then he calls 911. You got to listen to this 911 call.
I haven't heard it.
It does not make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. People have said he's trying to de-escalate. A crazy man breaks into your house. You don't want to get into a fight with him. You want to talk him down, try and get the police there. Mm-hmm. There's that old story where the woman is being abused by her boyfriend. So she calls 911 and pretends like she's ordering a pizza. And she's like, I'll have a large pepperoni. And the dispatcher's like, ma'am, this is 911. And she goes, yes. And like, ma'am, you can't order pizza here. And she's like, yes, a large pepperoni. Ma'am, are you saying this because someone is around you who will hurt you? Yeah. And they go, okay, what's your address? And then they give the address and make it seem like it's a pizza. But Paul Pelosi wasn't doing that. Mm-mm. He's like, I think I called you by mistake. And then she's like, do you need emergency services? He goes, no. What do you think? And then DePape goes, I think it's good. And he goes, okay.
DePape was on the tape?
Yeah, you can hear him.
DePape's sitting with him, and or standing with him.
I thought he was in the bathroom. I thought he was like hiding in the bathroom.
No, he's
That's what
he's
they told
with
us
them
originally.
Oh, and she's like, do you need emergency, fire, or medical? And he goes, I don't think so. What do you think? And then DePape goes, I think we're good. And he goes, he says he thinks we're good, but he's not leaving. And I'm just like, oh, hold on a minute.
Oh, okay, so that's kind of like a hostage call.
Isn't there a moment where Paul is like...
Why would DePape be like, it is totally fine, you've called the police, and I'm standing here talking with you, and I'm your friend? Yes. DePape even says, I'm a friend.
Yeah, but Paul has to ask him his name. She's like, what's the guy's name? And we hear David, DePape go, David. I mean, like, I don't know that they actually know each other.
No, I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying...
I'm sure they didn't know each other.
Doesn't make sense.
So maybe the guy's not his dealer. I had that narrative going on in my head. Maybe it's just some random...
No, for sure. But my question is then... Why would DePape let Pelosi call 911, communicate with the dispatcher and Pelosi?
Maybe he said he was calling Nancy.
No.
Maybe he told DePape that.
She says he doesn't call 911. He calls the San Francisco PD.
Do you have that call? Is that call? Can we listen to that?
I'm pretty sure it's a non-emergency.
I've never heard it.
I think we
This
do
would be
have
worth
it.
listening to.
I just want to be
Is he
careful
like
because
breathing heavily during it, or like?
we're not getting
Well,
any.
and he's slow
there's
to
no audio
identify
playing?
himself too, and I don't know if that's on purpose or not. He keeps
Audio's
saying
not coming
like,
out.
Should be feeding.
Oh wait,
3
There we
and
go.
18 seconds.
This is San Francisco Police. Do you need help?
Oh, well, there's a gentleman here just waiting for my wife to come back. Nancy Pelosi.
2, 23 and
He's just
38
waiting for her to come back, but she's not going to be here for a day, so I guess we'll have to wait.
0,
Okay, do you need police, fire, or
23
medical
and
for anything?
48 seconds.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
0, 2, 23 and
Okay.
58 seconds.
There's is the Capitol Police around?
2, 20.
No, this
They
is San
usually
Francisco.
protect my wife. They're usually here at the house protecting my wife.
No,
But
this is
gentleman
San
came in.
Francisco Police.
Friday, October.
I understand.
8, 2022.
Okay, well,
0, 2, 24
I don't know, what do you
and
think?
18 seconds.
He thinks everything's good. I've got a problem, but he thinks everything's good.
0,
okay.
20.
okay, now hold on real quick. I've got a problem, but he thinks everything's good. Okay, maybe it's fair to say he is trying to de-escalate and he's scared to say police and police, but he literally asked for the Capitol Police. That doesn't make sense.
Saying that they're usually protecting his wife.
Maybe
But,
he
like-
wanted to make the Pappy feel more at ease to know there's no cops around.
But he could have been like, "Oh, I can call them and tell them to bring Nancy. I'll call them right now."
well,
How did DePape let him call 911? He denies wanting emergency medical, but then emergency services, police or fire, but then asks if the Capitol Police are around.
I think it sounds like he was making a phone call to. I bet he just tried to appease him and said, "Oh, we'll get Nancy. Oh, you want Nancy? I'll get Nancy on the phone right now." And he makes a call and he's
I
talking.
must have called you by mistake.
see,
yeah,
it makes
because you would,
me-
if you were DePappy, you would not know he was talking to 911 there.
It makes
What
me
would
think
make you
he
that?
called the Capitol Police or whoever it secures his house normally first and didn't get a hold of them. Because he then is like, I must have called you by mistake because I'm actually looking for someone else. Are Capitol Police around? Like, he doesn't actually want to be talking to San Francisco Police. He wants to be talking to Capitol Police. If they
I think
secure
he actually
your
called them by
house,
mistake.
don't you have a contact for them?
by mistake.
I think Paul was drunk out of his mind and called them by mistake. I don't know for sure, but think about this. If DePape was going to let him make a phone call, why wouldn't he call his wife or the Capitol Police?
Maybe that's what he said he was doing. We don't know what he told.
No,
DePape.
hold on. DePape let him call the police.
But did DePape know he was talking to police?
He's literally talking to someone who says, "Do you want police?"
But is he on speakerphone?
If
Does
he's
DePape hear
if
that?
he's not on speakerphone, why didn't he say yes? Send the police.
Probably because DePape was standing there with a hammer, like 3 feet away from him.
Okay, you guys.
And
Listen,
he's like, okay,
let's
I got
pause
to be
real
real
quick.
smooth about this.
We got to pause real quick.
I'm pulling a pizza
He's on the
delivery.
phone, and they say, "Do you need police, fire, medical?" No, I don't think so.
Because DePape's looking at him.
So then why did he say, "Are the Capitol Police around?"
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, you hear a
because
knock
he
on the
wants to
door.
make the guy feel more at ease.
Then
to know
why
there's no-
didn't he call the Capitol Police?
'Cause he was waiting.
It does
He's
not
messing-
make
'cause he's
sense.
messing with
drunk
what?
logic.
He's messing with DePape.
Drunk logic is no logic.
No.
Yes,
see-
yes.
Maybe
Drunk
that's it.
logic
Maybe
is no
that's it,
logic.
yeah.
Look, I'm sorry. DePape let him make a phone call, or he made a phone call and DePape was getting angry. But if he's concerned, if he was doing the secret thing where he's like, "Please send me a pizza," if DePape can't hear, and she says, "Do you need police?" He could have been like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." But maybe DePape can hear. But then he literally says, "Is the Capitol Police around?" DePape certainly heard that.
Yeah.
And
Although-
if he was concerned, if he was concerned about DePape's reaction, why did he call SFPD, ask for the Capitol Police instead, and say he doesn't want SFPD when he could have taken his phone and called? Drunk logic is no logic. I think it's possible, because this doesn't make sense. He was so drunk, he accidentally called SFPD because he's got SFPD and Capitol Police in his phone, and he's like, and he hits the wrong button. Look, there's a million reasons he could have done this. But when I heard this, everyone's saying it's de-escalation. He doesn't want DePape to get angry. Well, DePape's standing next to him when he asks for the Capitol Police.
Maybe, but I hear a knock on the door. Did you hear the knock? If you pull it back right before he mentions the Capitol Police, you hear
Usually
4
here at the
knocks.
house protecting my wife.
No,
But
this is
gentleman
San
came in.
Francisco Police.
Friday, October.
I understand.
8, 2022.
Okay, well,
0, 2, 24
I don't know, what do you think?
18
No, it's before this.
He's He thinks everything's good. I've got a problem. But
You can hear the
he thinks
terror in his voice.
Zero.
So go back. It's earlier.
He's just waiting for her to come back. But she's not going to be here for a day, so I guess we'll have to wait.
Okay, do you need police, fire, or medical for anything?
8 seconds.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, why wouldn't he just say yes right there?
23.
Why would he say, I don't think so?
Yeah.
But then say, are the Capitol Police around?
He might have walked into a bathroom and closed the door. Right before he mentions the
Right,
Capitol.
there, you heard that right
Yeah,
there.
right
Can you
there.
rewind?
What was that?
But it could be.
Wait,
0, 2, 23, and
Okay.
58 seconds.
There's the.
I don't think someone's knocking. I think someone's putting something down on a dresser or something.
Maybe this is like right before he opens the door. He's like, "Can you?"
Is
Are
the
the Capitol
Capitol
Police?
Police around?
No,
And then he opens the
because
door.
of this call, they sent police out later on.
Yeah, but I mean, when he says, "Are the Capitol Police around?" and then he opens the door to let David in, something like that. Like maybe David didn't hear him say that part.
All I know is this is somehow
No, this
Trump's
is
fault.
separate.
Like,
Trump.
somehow
No,
this is
no, no,
Trump's
no, no,
fault.
no,
Like
no, no.
somehow
Stop,
this is
stop,
Trump's
stop.
fault. Like,
If David wasn't in the room with him and he was on the phone with police, he would have said, send the police now, I need help. So if David is in the room with him, the argument is that he didn't want to agitate DePap. But then he literally says, are the Capitol Police around?
So I'm wondering if he was like, David, I got to go to the bathroom. Hold on, we'll figure this out. He goes into the bathroom, closes the door, makes the call. Halfway through, right before you hear a knock on the door, and he's like, "Are the Capitol Police around?" Because that's the knock. And then he opens the door.
Why
He's like,
wouldn't he close the door and say, okay, yes, please come?
yeah, why wouldn't he just lock the door?
Doesn't
and stay
make sense,
hiding in
dude.
there?
Even when they
I
ask
don't,
him.
hold on. This is what's frustrating to me. Why everyone is trying so hard to justify Paul Pelosi is innocent and was actually a victim when the call doesn't make sense.
I'm justifying it because DePap smashed his window to get into his house and hit him in the head with a hammer.
Yeah,
and
that
caused
and
massive-
also like
but
what are
simply
you
put,
saying he's
Paul
doing?
Pelosi is drunk out of his mind and doesn't make sense. So it's like, why try and twist yourself into a position to justify that Paul Pelosi's call makes no sense?
I mean, a lot of people were saying the lover thing, right? That was the
That's
lover thing.
silly.
That was silly because if he was looking for a gay lover, he's rich and he's 80. You know,
He's in San
82.
Francisco.
He wouldn't find a 300-pound fat loser like that.
whoa,
he
whoa,
could
whoa,
find
hey.
like a 40-year-old.
Maybe he likes them big.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe
You know,
he's got a
people got
fetish
their-
for it.
Yeah.
People got
no
their
judgment.
their
but
types. Exactly.
That
See,
guy was
there you
looking
go.
for Nancy for sure. The way he said he's here looking for my wife, like he says it all
he's
diplomatically.
definitely looking for Nancy.
Yeah, that's what he says.
So he's trying to give David some hope, like, hey, maybe if I
Let's
make this call.
let's play through the call.
They're usually here at the house protecting my wife.
No,
But
this is
gentleman
San
came in.
Francisco Police.
Friday, October.
I understand.
8, 2022.
Okay, well,
0, 24,
I don't know, what do you think?
18 seconds.
What do you think?
That's a way
It's
of
like saying,
All
should we
right,
get
let's play, let's play.
should we get pepperoni too?
he thinks everything's good. I've got a problem, but he thinks everything's good.
0,
Okay. Call us back if you change your mind.
28 seconds.
Think about that. Call us back if you need some help or whatever she said,
Change your mind.
or if you change your mind.
No. This gentleman just came into the house, and he wants to wait here for my wife to come home.
0, 2,
And so,
24, and 48.
anyway, he
Do
told me
you
to put the
know?
phone down.
Do you know who the person is?
No, I don't know who he is. He has this. He's telling me. He's telling me not to. He's telling me not to do anything.
What is your address?
Okay, this is just weird.
Like, that sounds like a lie. He probably knows who he is.
It sounds like a lie because he's telling me not to do anything. The dude's standing next to him. He's literally asking DePap what he thinks, but then telling the police, DePap says don't do anything, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, dude.
It doesn't. What doesn't make sense is we can say Pelosi's drunk, but DePap is standing next to him being like, don't you call the police. Oh, tell them my name's David. What?
Yeah, I think
But-
DePap expected that this phone call was going to result in Nancy coming over.
Yes, sir.
2640.
That's what I was saying. Like that, he was humoring him. He's making him think
My
that
name's
Nancy's going to
Paul
be here.
Pelosi.
Friday.
Anyway, this gentleman says that he thinks everything ought to, he's telling me to put the phone down and just do what he says.
18 seconds.
Okay?
Okay. What's the gentleman's name?
I don't know. What's that?
My name's David.
So he
Oh, he
can't.
doesn't know him.
He can hear the dispatcher. She said, "What's his name?" And he immediately responded, "David
so
DePap."
he can't hear what they're saying. Yeah.
He can hear the dispatcher.
The name is David.
Okay, and who is David?
I don't know. What's that?
I'm a friend of theirs.
Yeah,
That's a lie.
He says he's a friend, but as I
But
said, I've never.
you don't know who he is?
No, ma'am.
Right there, you're sending squad cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like,
Telling me
this
I'm
is an
being very
emergency.
leading,
Like,
so I gotta
if
stop.
you're
What
the
I-
dispatcher.
Yeah, that's all. So he didn't know David. Now,
So that's all
I'm
the dispatcher
convinced.
need to hear. Like, you
Wait,
don't
hold
know
on.
who he is.
Like, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everybody is smart enough to break this down, but if I was the 911 dispatcher, 911 dispatcher, and a guy called and said, "Yeah, some guy just came into my house and he's going to wait here for my wife," I'd be like, "What's your address?" Instantly, "What's your address?" And then I'd call and be like, "We got a report of someone entering someone's house. You guys want to go check it out?" I'll keep him on the phone and try and figure out what's going on. But this lady, this 911 dispatcher is just like, "Well, okay, I guess." Like, are you kidding?
You get these
Call us
rogue
back if you need us.
dispatchers.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever hear that dispatch call where the guy got stabbed and he called 911? He's like, "I've been stabbed. I'm bleeding out." And she's like,
Calm
"Where
down.
are you?" And yeah, really? Where are you at? He's like, "I don't know," or something. And she's like,
It's like,
gets
I'm-
confrontational
no, no,
with
no.
him.
There was one where two kids got shot in a drive-by, and then two young guys, young adults, man, like 20 years old, and they call and they're like, "Help! Help! I've been shot!" And she goes, "Calm down." Where he's like, "I'm dying. I'm here. Here's the address." And she goes, "If you keep talking to me like that."
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking
These
of.
people, like a lot of these 911 dispatchers, they're like RMV employees. They're the grumpiest people. Like, dude, I'm in crisis. Aren't you used to this? Like, every person who calls you is in crisis. Have you never dealt with a crazy person before? You're like, "I'm sorry, I don't talk to people unless you talk to me in a calm voice." You're 911.
It could be like compassion fatigue. You know, they do this all the time. It could be them like being to the point where like they've just done it all day. They don't know if there could be people that call in to the same day that were pranking them the whole time. You never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I totally hear what you're saying.
There are a ton of people who call in insanely hysterical over
Right.
something that, like, if you're the 911 dispatcher, starts to feel small in comparison. Like, the next person calls you with a murder, person before that calls you because someone bumped their car.
Well,
like,
look at the Veritas video from yesterday. The guy called the cops for that, for a guy asking him questions.
the cops are like,
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. I think the weird thing to me is that, like, she's like, "Well, so call us back," and Paul's like, "No, I have a problem. I don't want him to be here." Like, I can't explain the beginning of the call. It is weird no matter how you look at it. I personally tend to lean towards, like, yeah, I think it does seem like he's trying to, like, alert someone. And I still have the instinct that he maybe tried to get a hold of Capitol Police first and it didn't work.
I gotta stop real quick. Take everything into consideration with the 911 call, and then take into consideration that he answers the door with the police holding a beverage.
Yeah.
Maybe it's water.
that he won't put down.
That he won't put down. And when DePape twists the hammer out of his hand, he still won't drop his drink to try and stop the hammer.
Alcoholism.
Good drink.
Maybe.
That's some alpha thing. He's like trying to establish, like, yo, I'm in control here. I don't know.
$6,000 whiskey. He's like, it's not worth
It's not. I'm not dropping.
I'm
He
not
spilled-
dropping-
He's not buying the cheap stuff.
No.
Why
That's
would
true.
you? You're a
Yeah,
Pelosi.
I mean, Nancy's got that $20 ice cream or whatever, in her fridge. Remember that?
Maybe Paul felt like the cops are going to get this guy off of me, so
Like-
let's just move on.
Some people in a crisis situation are good at staying calm and trying to talk the person down, stuff like that. But, like, I don't know that Paul Pelosi is. Maybe he is. But to then walk around with your like nightcap is very strange.
I'm gonna play this. There's only a few more seconds.
Stop talking to you, okay?
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's play the rest.
Okay.
He's telling me I'm being very leading, so I got to stop talking to you, okay?
25 and
He's been very
Okay.
what?
You sure I
Leading?
can stay on the
Come on.
phone with you just to make sure everything's okay?
No, he wants me to get that off the phone.
0 to 26
Okay.
Okay.
and 08
Thank you.
seconds.
Okay, bye.
I'm
I
on
don't
Paul's
understand.
side here.
I don't understand why, considering we heard all of that, he didn't say to David, "If you want me to call Nancy, I can call the people who drive around, take care of her. It's the police." Just, I'll call them and let them know and tell them to bring her over.
He would have believed it.
Probably.
I mean, he
drunk,
literally said on the
scared.
phone, "I want Capitol Police." I don't understand why he said, "Are the Capitol Police there?" instead of just saying, "Are like you're
Any
the
police will do.
He was
yeah,
probably-
right. Any police will do.
He was probably panicking as he was drunk and not used to this kind of thing because it just didn't. A lot of it was just kind of desperate. Like Capitol Police when he's on the San Francisco 911 call and he asks for Capitol Police. That's a weird desperation.
Drunk.
Well, that's why I want to know, like, why is he like, I need Capitol Police? Like, if you're drunk and you're in an emergency, even if you're managing to stay weirdly calm, like, as soon as you get any kind of police, wouldn't you be like, yes, yes? Like, to me, it's interesting that he is specifically like, I don't know that I want to talk to you, but I definitely want to talk to Capitol Police.
It's also possible that Capitol Police has a contingent in San Francisco watching the Pelosi's house that are in touch with the police department, but 911 dispatcher didn't know that.
Philip R. super chatted that he was trying to speak in code, telling her that he was Pelosi's husband. I do agree with that. He says, you know, he's waiting for my wife, Nancy Pelosi. And it's just like, the funny thing about that is like, my guy,
like, who?
nobody knows who that is. Nobody knows who that is. I will, we should
Nancy
make,
Pelosi is?
Nobody knows who Nancy Pelosi is.
I think there are tons of people who couldn't name the Speaker of the House.
I'd be willing to bet.
You're in the news.
We're in an
You're
echo chamber,
biased.
dude.
Yeah.
Go to Times Square, and I will give you $10 for every person who says they know who Nancy Pelosi is.
Yeah.
What percentage of the country do you think knows who Nancy Pelosi is?
12
Adults? How many adults?
Oh, yeah, 12%.
That's it?
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
I was thinking that
I
today.
think she's one of the
ever
most
watched-
identifiable.
Have you ever
followers.
watched Flecka's videos?
I have.
Where he goes on the street and asks them basic questions like, "What name a country that starts with the letter U?" And they go, I don't know. It's like United States of America.
Kind of a trick question.
Oh, come on.
Do you think?
man.
You think?
I was thinking last night. Oh, what's it?
No, go ahead.
How we're in an echo chamber. How I'm in an echo chamber, even though I'm trying to be open minded. I texted my buddy out in LA, and I was like, "What do people in your zone think about Ukraine? Do they want an escalation?" Because I'm in kind of like a libertarian, conservative echo chamber, and everybody wants out of there. They want the U.S. not involved, and so he messaged back. He's like, "We want peace. We want Russia to not be invading." And it's like, man, I still have like portals to people in other echo chambers, but we are, and even social media is intensifying that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.